Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ursulon Cockrell. This is It Is Finished Ministries. I wanted to just take a break from Ezekiel 38 and 39 and really revisit Daniel chapter 7, the little horn, because I think a lot of people have questions on who this little horn is. Many people want to make this the Roman Catholic Church, like the Adventist Church would. I myself used to believe that. And really this was the clincher for me, right? Daniel 7 and the message the Adventist Church teaches really made me a Seventh-day Adventist because it seemed so irrefutable at the time. But now looking back, I have a much deeper understanding of this chapter as it relates to the New Testament. And so I believe quite differently. And if we study the Bible, I think the Bible shows us differently. Adventism has taken the pieces that the Reformation left behind, right? The Reformation identified the little horn as the Roman Catholic Church because they were facing persecution, trying to make sense of the persecution. The work that they did, right? The message they preached, salvation by grace through faith, was found, right? So essential of a message. So the work they did is not all lost, right? They did a lot of good, but the Roman Catholic Church is not the little horn. And we're going to show that from the Bible alone through these series of videos. In Daniel chapter 7, several important things are mentioned in the New Testament that Jesus connects to this little horn. And we're going to dig into those. In Daniel chapter 7, you have, which I'm not going to get into the background, you have Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, and then you have these 10 horns and a little horn. These are where I really want to spend my time on this little horn. In Daniel chapter 7, we read that the little horn, he actually is destroyed and given to the burning flame. And the rest of the beasts get to go on living. Now, how can this happen if this is the second coming, right? That's a big question we need to ask. We read that in Daniel 7. I watched then because of the sound of the pompous words which the horn was speaking. I watched till the beast was slain, its body destroyed, given to the burning flame. As for the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. I was watching in the night visions, behold, one like the Son of Man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. Now here, the beast is destroyed. The little horn is destroyed. His body given over to the burning flame. Within the same context, we see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven to the Ancient of Days. What does Jesus do in Matthew chapter 26? He's speaking to the religious leaders. He says, Jesus said to him, "It is as you said. Nevertheless, I say to you, hereafter you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of power, coming on the clouds of heaven." Then the high priest tore his clothes, saying, "You have spoken blasphemy. What further need do we have of witnesses? Look now, you have heard his blasphemy." So here's Jesus speaking to the religious leaders, quoting Daniel chapter 7, him coming on the clouds of heaven in judgment. What is he saying? Hereafter you, religious leaders, you will see a picture of Daniel 7 coming on the clouds of heaven, the Son of Man, in judgment upon you. He's taking our attention to Daniel chapter 7. What is he saying? He's calling Israel, the Pharisees, the little horn. That's the significance of the statement Jesus makes in quoting Daniel chapter 7, speaking to Israel. Now he does this again, speaking of Daniel chapter 2. In Daniel chapter 2, we have an image there. The same pattern we see in Daniel chapter 7 because it's a chiastic parallel. Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome. Then we see this picture of the iron and clay. Clay was a picture of Israel. Isaiah chapter 64. And then we have a stone cut out from a mountain without hand. It strikes this image where? At the feet, where the clay was. It strikes this image at the feet. In Daniel chapter 2, we read, the days of these kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. The kingdom shall not be left to other people. It shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms. It shall stand forever. What do we see here? We see that the kingdom would be set up in the days of these kings. While these other kingdoms are established, God was going to set up a kingdom in the midst of these kingdoms, right? It's in the days of these kings when God sets up this kingdom. Now the stone does become a great mountain and fills the whole earth, so we can't lose sight of that. But in Matthew 21, Jesus quotes this verse. And he says, "He who is falling on this stone shall be broken, and on whomsoever it may fall, it will crush him to pieces." The chief priests and the Pharisees, having heard his similes, knew that of them he speaks. So here's Jesus quoting Daniel chapter 2, speaking about the stone, that stone, him, when it strikes this image, when it strikes the people, it would crush them to pieces. That is so significant because who is he talking about again? Israel, the religious leaders, old covenant Israel. So Jesus here in two separate instances, taking our attention back to Daniel 2, Daniel 7, essentially saying he was going to crush that little horn to pieces, give his body to the burning flame. And we'll see that shortly in a minute. Now, after this little horn is destroyed, his body given to the burning flame, the kingdom is taken from him and given to another nation. Daniel 7:26-27. But the court shall be seated. They shall take away his dominion to consume and destroy it forever. Then the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heaven shall be given to the people, the saints of the Most High. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. All nations, all dominions shall serve and obey him. In Matthew chapter 21, Jesus gives a parable of a vineyard. He lets this vineyard out to vine dressers, and then he goes away. Now he sends servants to the vine dressers to render the fruits, but they kill the servants. Finally, he sends his son, a picture of Jesus Christ, and they kill the son. They cast him out of the vineyard and kill the son. What does it goes on to say? It goes on to say, when the owner of the vineyard comes, the second coming, what will he do? He will utterly destroy those vine dressers. What will he do? He will give that vine to another nation. He will take away the kingdom, give it to another nation. Matthew 21, verse 40-41. Therefore, when the owner of the vineyard comes, what will he do to those vine dressers? They said to him, he will destroy those wicked men miserably, lease his vineyard to other vine dressers who will render to him the fruits in their seasons. Therefore, I say to you, the kingdom of God will be taken from you, given to a nation bearing the fruits of it. And on whoever falls on this stone will be broken, but on whomsoever it falls, it will grind him to powder. Now, when the chief priests and Pharisees heard his parables, they perceived that he was speaking of them. So here's Jesus saying when he comes, he would destroy those wicked vine dressers. In the very next chapter, Matthew 22, Jesus describes this as the city being burned with fire. So here's Jesus saying he would take that vineyard, the kingdom, give it to another nation. That's exactly what we see in Daniel chapter 7. The little horn is destroyed. The stone smites the image at the feet, that picture of Israel, the clay, and the kingdom is given to another nation. That stone will begin to fill the whole earth. The church is what we see in the midst of these other kingdoms. That's the picture we see here, folks. Now, don't lose sight of this. In Daniel chapter 7, there are 10 horns that arise, and one that arises, a little one from among them. Where is Daniel drawing this imagery from? The thing that was is that which shall be, the Bible tells us. In the Old Testament, in the days of Solomon, when the kingdom split, 10 northern tribes to the north, 2 to the south. In those 10 northern tribes, what happens? We have Jeroboam who rises up from among them. What does he do? Changes times and laws, which is what we see in this little horn. Jeroboam took a feast that was in the 7th month, moved it to the 8th month. He rises up from among 10 tribes of Israel, 10 horns, and he changes times and laws. The thing that was is that which shall be. As Israel did it in the Old Testament, here they're going to do it again in the New Testament. That's the picture we see in Daniel chapter 7. And so that's where, again, we're looking at this at a very high level from some of the profound statements Jesus makes, literally identifying the little horn as Israel. If we hear the Spirit, we'll see those connections as well. Friends, we're going to dig deeper into this and some of the more details of the little horn in the next video. So stick around. Don't miss it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. When we use the Bible and the Bible alone, the truth will be revealed to us. Thanks and God bless.